What's up, Radiant Icons, and welcome back to Dare to Be Iconic, the podcast made for icons daring to be themselves. I'm your host, Amanda Policelli, and today we are doing our first ever Q&A about my trip to Spain. But before we do that, if you guys haven't already, I dare you to connect with me on socials. And if you haven't, make sure to grab your copy of Break Up with the Past, Fall in Love with the Future, your 5-step guide in turning your pain into power. And all that information can be found in the show notes below. I have been wanting to do a Q&A session for a while on the podcast, and I am so excited it's finally here. And you guys delivered. So let's get into it. Are you ready, Radiant Icons? Because your tea time sesh is starting now. The question that everyone has been asking me since the last episode, how close was I to Lando Norris? Well, I'm so sorry to report, everyone, I was not that close to Lando. Let's share this story, shall we? So I know I kept saying that I've only laid eyes on Lando for 0.2 seconds, and that is very, very accurate. So we were at the fan stage on Friday because that was the day McLaren was coming out with V-Carb. And everyone in my group, they all knew I'm a huge Lando Norris girl. And they were like, you are also very short. You need to be somewhat near the front. And we had very tall people in front of us. So I asked one of the guys in front of me, I was like, would it be okay if I switched with you? Because again, he's like a foot taller than me, so he can still see if I went in front of him. I was like, is it okay like if I go in front of you just for Lando? Like, blah, blah. And he was like, oh yeah, of course. He lets me go in front of him, and then I'm confronted by two other tall men in white. And if you guys saw my TikTok, I complained about two guys in particular pushing me and like getting in my way. It was them. It was the two men in white that saw me in my Lando Norris gear that did not give a shit at all. They were so rude. They were like stepping on me, pushing on me. They were like talking to each other. And I was like, oh no, this cannot happen. Lando was about to come out. You need to not right now. So I literally went, excuse me. When Lando comes out, I'm putting my phone in the middle just for Lando. I just need to see Lando. Everyone after that, I will not bother you. I will be back with my friends. But for Lando, I'm putting my phone in the middle. Is that okay? And I wasn't asking them. I was telling them. And they were like, oh, yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem. You would think they would like, oh, maybe we shouldn't push and like get in her view. Oh, no. No, 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 no. They did. But that's not the worst part of this story. Lando Norris comes out. I see him for 0.2 seconds, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. My hand is like shaking. I'm like, I want to say like fifth row, right? And I'm like, this is a perfect view. I didn't get to see his full face yet, right? I only saw his side profile. I'm like, oh my God, that's him. He is about to turn to face like the crowd, to face where I'm at. And the McLaren social media person, I shit you not, pops a squad on the stage right in my direct view of Lando. So I could see Oscar, I could see Yuki, and I could see Danny Rick. I could not see Lando. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. And I know my friends were all like, oh my God, Amanda's probably having the best view ever. Because they couldn't see that I was blocked by the social media person. I did get to see Lando for a little bit more when he got to the front of the stage to like grab stuff that people were throwing on the stage and like take pictures and all of that. But again, that was very, very short lived. So that's why I say 0.2 seconds, because that was the only other chance, because we all know how the pit lane walk went. The pit lane walk was not successful whatsoever because I was just there in my Lando Norris corset with my 2 friendship bracelets in front of Lando's garage, waiting for him to come out. I was just a girl with a dream. And that dream did not get fulfilled that day, but it's fine. It will happen when it's meant to. Like I said last episode, we saw him for 0.2 seconds, everyone, and that is as close as I got to Lando. I think after that on Saturday for qualifying, when he was first on pole and he like came around, I think in my delusional brain that since I was in the Max Verstappen section and I was only, again, the only girl with Lando Norris merch like a walking billboard that I am for him, he had like turned the corner because we were in grandstand G, so we were right where turn 12 or 13 was. And so when he turned the corner, I think he saw me and he started waving because I was yelling like a lunatic, being like, yeah, Lando, let's go, and like waving at him. So I think he waved back because he started waving at that exact moment when I was waving. I'm just saying. I don't make the rules. I just say them. I think that's what happened. But yeah, that's as close as I was to Lando Norris this time around. Next time, next time we'll be meeting him, everyone. Okay, I'm putting that out into the universe even more now than ever before. How was it traveling alone without your parents? Now, as you guys know, my trip to Spain was not only my first international trip, but it was my first trip without my parents. And oh my God, did I learn so much about myself. Remember that hyper independence that I spoke about maybe 2 episodes ago before I went to Spain? I definitely gained it while I was on that trip. Yes, there were times where like, oh my God, I need to call my parents because I don't know what to do. Because in my mind, I still think of myself as a teenage girl. I don't think of myself as a young 25-year-old trying to figure her life out. I saw throughout the trip me slowly building this hyper independence and really figuring stuff out for myself. So in Madrid, the second night we were there, Danny and I got locked out of our hotel. We didn't know that they locked the doors of the hotel and that you have to press a button. No one told us that. And we got home around like 1 a.m. Spain time, so not too late. But there was no one at the front desk. We didn't have an emergency number, anything like that. So we were freaking out. And we had a great night. Like, let me tell you, like, we were arm in arm, giggling, hee hee hee, ha ha, ha, all the way back to our hotel. We open the door, we don't see anyone at the front desk, and it's locked. And we're like, what the heck? I'm looking around, like, we're two young girls locked out of our hotel in a foreign country. Like, I can't just call my dad. But the first thing I thought of was, I need to call my dad, not let's call the police or something. Like, let's call my dad. And I was like, what would he have done in that moment? He couldn't do anything, right? He was X amount of miles away from me. But the first thing I thought of was, we need to get safe. We need to not look like targets. And two, I need to call my dad. But as we kept moving on in the trip, right, I slowly was weaning off that security blanket of calling my parents for X, Y, and Z. A great example was when Danny and I got stranded in Barcelona. So from the circuit after the pit lane walk, getting to Barcelona, if you guys did not listen to the story in the last episode, you need to listen to it. Pause this episode and go back to that because, oh my God, what a shit show that was. But my first instinct was not to call my parents. It was to figure it out myself with Danny and see how we can get home. Not let me call my mom and see if she can help me out. Even though my mom probably would have liked me to. And she said that on the phone later on when I told her about everything. But my first instinct was completely different from that second night in Madrid when I was locked out of my hotel to automatically call my dad, right? So I think throughout the trip, it was a really great experience for me to learn about that hyper independence that I was craving to learn about before I went on this trip. So I'm very happy to report that I definitely think I gained it. I definitely think it's an experience that everyone needs to have at least once in their lifetime. Maybe not to the extreme of going to another country like I did, but because it's something so truly magical about being by yourself, away from your parental figures, and just figuring out life. I think it's something everyone needs to experience, and I am craving it more now than ever to do it again. Going to the Spanish Grand Prix, did you level up your fangirl? If so, how? Okay. Did I level up my fangirl? Yes, 1,000%. I took my duties as a professional fangirl very seriously. I decided to show up and show out because I expect nothing less of myself. I was a walking billboard again for Lando Norris, and I have no regrets. Absolutely none. And I enjoyed myself. And I stayed true to who I was. And I think that's very important because I think a lot of people will go into these situations of not even just attending a Grand Prix, but attending events where there's a lot of people around and they may get self-conscious about expressing how they feel loud and proud and just being who they are. I didn't give a shit. I think that's the beautiful thing of getting to this point in my life is truly knowing who I am and loving who I am and accepting it and not caring what other people think about me. So on Saturday and Sunday, when I was living it up and partying with the DJ before qualifying and before the race, I didn't care that the people behind me were giving me the dirtiest looks in the world. I was enjoying my life. I was living my life and I was providing free entertainment. So you should be thankful. But anyway, my point is I was able to connect with so many amazing people while I was at the Spanish Grand Prix by staying true to who I am, which is a professional fangirl, and being unapologetic about it. I think if this was Amanda 2 years ago, I would not have embraced every aspect of who I was so publicly. And I would not have enjoyed it because I would have been so self conscious about how I was being perceived by other people. And I think what's so beautiful about it is not only seeing the growth that I've had in myself and accepting who I am, but it's beautiful and being in a point where it's so freeing to be who I am. And if you don't like me, that's your problem, not mine. I think coming out of the Spanish Grand Prix, it's really given me this new appreciation for the sport and this new appreciation for the community that I've become a part of within these last couple of months. Because the F1 fangirl community, we get a bad rap. People think we're only here because the drivers are hot, and that's simply not true. We just enjoy the sport. We love it, and we create lifelong memories. I'm so sorry that we make it more fun for everyone. It's just the reality. The fangirls are the people bringing the energy. We are the ones who are the heartbeat of this sport. We bring this new, fresh perspective to it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with loving what you love unapologetically. I think coming out of the Grand Prix, it's definitely given me a new appreciation for the community that I'm a part of and for the sport. And I'm really excited to go back. I'm already planning another trip, so stay tuned, you guys. And speaking of being a fangirl, by the time this airs, this will already be announced. So I will be furthering this conversation not only on next week's podcast episode with the founder of F1 Girlies magazine, Ella, but you can read all about it in the July issue of F1 Girlies magazine because yours truly is the cover girl. I know, so exciting. Little baby Amanda is screaming. And I am so, so excited to continue this conversation about daring to embrace your inner fangirl. So make sure to read the July issue of F1 Girlies magazine coming out on July 15th and to tune into my episode with the founder of F1 Girlies, Ella, on July 17th. Next question. Would you go back to Spain again? The short answer, yes, absolutely. I would definitely go back to Madrid again. I loved Madrid. It was probably one of my favorite places we went to in Spain. Barcelona, I would go back again, but solely for like the tourist stuff that Danny and I weren't able to experience because the majority of the trip was F1 related. I thought originally going on this trip that, oh my God, it's going to be such a big culture shock and everything's going to be so different there, this and that. But really, in the grand scheme of things, we all are more similar than we are different. It's really put in perspective a lot of things for me. So I definitely would go back and I definitely have a different mindset on the world now. My favorite part of my trip, apart from the Grand Prix adventures, would be the flamenco show that Danny and I went to on our first night. Now, we booked this experience through Airbnb, and it was absolutely amazing. If you go to Spain anytime in your lifetime, you have to go to a flamenco show. It was so cool to be immersed firsthand in Spain's culture and being able to see it like live in front of you in such an intimate setting because the experience that we were in, they had us go down to like, it was, how do I explain it? It was like a cave theater. Like we were kind of like locked up in a cave, sitting front row, drinking sangria, watching this amazing flamenco show. And there was about 5 musicians and 3 performers. Everyone is just so talented, and you were able to truly feel all the emotion from the dancers and from the music. And it was just such a cool, immersive experience that I definitely will never forget. And it was definitely the highlight of my Spain trip, apart from the Grand Prix. Any Spain love stories? Any Spain crush? Guys, I'm so sorry to report there was no update on my love life. I am not dating. I'm not going to date anytime soon. The easy answer to this question would be Lando Norris. Lando Norris is not only my Spain crush, he's my everyday crush. There is one other guy that I met briefly in Spain, but that is for me, myself, and I. But the easy answer here, I'm saying Lando Norris. Lando Norris will always be my crush. Did you try some Spanish traditional food? If yes, which one was your favorite? So Danny and I ate our way through Madrid and Barcelona, and I am a very happy girl because of it. So if you guys don't know, I have a severe peanut allergy. So traveling the first time without my parents, with having a severe food allergy, is definitely just an interesting experience in itself. And I can talk about food allergies until I'm blue in the face, but there's so much food allergy anxiety. And I definitely had it going into Spain because I really wasn't sure like how everything was gonna go. Like you do your research, but like when you're truly there is when you figure it out, you know? And when I tell you, Spain was so food allergy friendly. They had a allergy menu almost at every place we went to. There was only one or two places where I was like, "Oh no, like I cannot eat here. Like I do not feel safe." But overall, Spain was amazing. I still dream of this bacalao that we had in Madrid. It's white fish. If you guys don't know, it's a very traditional Spanish fish. It's absolutely amazing, divine, truly. I love seafood, so I was literally living for all the seafood we were devouring in Spain. And then San Miguel's market had this amazing bacalao empanada. Oh my god, I still dream of that empanada to this day. Our last day in Barcelona, we went to a place that Alexandra from Off to the Races recommended to us, and we had paella. Amazing. The best paella of our whole trip. So, so good. So I would say in Madrid, it was the empanadas and the regular bacalao. And then in Barcelona, it was the paella. Absolutely amazing. How was it meeting Logan? Did you enjoy yourself? I really did enjoy myself. Meeting Logan was one of the best and most memorable experiences from the entire trip. I think Williams Fanzone in general was my favorite part of the trip. It was just such a magical day. And I know I keep saying magical, but it truly, truly was. And it goes back to the lesson that I mentioned in the last episode of like kindness really goes a long way. And I just, it's something that I will never forget. Logan Sargeant is one of the sweetest and nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. He's so genuine and down to earth. And even though I met him for literally like 10 to 15 seconds, it was one of the most memorable 15 seconds of my life because he was just so kind to me and to my friends. And I will never forget that. If you have a chance to go to the Williams Fan Zone, I definitely recommend going because the Williams Fan Zone is top notch. It's elite. It's iconic. Like you can't get any better than that. And they truly, truly do care about their fans. Next question. How many of the drivers did you meet? I met Logan. So I met one F1 driver. I then met all the Williams Academy drivers. So I met Leah, I met Zach, I met Franco, and I met Luke. And then I met around, I want to say it was 6 of the F1 Academy drivers. I did not meet Bianca. I know a lot of people have been asking me that on TikTok. She was not there for the fan stage queue for the F1 Academy drivers, but I met all of the F1 Academy drivers that were there for that session, and they were so, so nice. A standout for me was Lola, the Charlotte Tilbury driver. I was really excited to meet her. What is a must do when you go to Spain? I think if you are going to Madrid, we didn't get to do this, but we were staying close to it. So we were able to at least see the outside, was the Royal Palace. And if you don't get to go to the Royal Palace, I definitely recommend going to the Prado Museum. Now, I'm not a big museum person, but the Prado Museum was actually very eye opening. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't think I was. So if you go to Madrid, I would definitely recommend doing and a flamenco show. You have to do a flamenco show while you were in Madrid. Like you just have to. It's a necessity. So I would say a flamenco show, the Royal Palace if you can get tickets. If not, I would go to the Prado Museum. If you are in Barcelona, I definitely recommend going to Sagrada Familia. It is absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning. How was the trip there and back? Now let me tell you. Flying with a severe food allergy is always a risk and it's always a gamble. You never know what type of service you're going to get. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't even know how you should classify this. I was able to experience both the bad and the good in this, so I can relay this to you guys. So, any of my food allergy listeners, this one's for you, okay? So, I flew on British Airways, operated through American Airlines, out of the Miami International Airport to Madrid. Now, usually with an allergy of my severity, I have to have an EpiPen, everything like that. They are supposed to allow you to pre-board so you can wipe down your seats. And there also should be an option for you to have some type of safe meal because on an international flight, they give you meals. I had the knowledge going in that usually, most likely, airlines do not care about food allergies. And that's a hard truth to swallow, but that is the reality of the situation, and I'm used to it, unfortunately. So I knew I had to bring some type of food with me on there. Thank God I did, because one, I was not able to pre-board when I asked all my questions. When I called them, and Danny called them as well, when we booked our tickets that they said, don't worry, you'll be able to pre-board, you'll be able to have a meal, like we'll label it, everything like that. Everything they said they were going to do, they did not do for me. So it was very frustrating because I was on a 9-hour flight and I didn't have any safe food that they could provide to me. So thank God, I'm used to this and I brought my own snacks, but still, I should not be in a situation where the airline can't even allow me to pre-board to wipe down my seats. Like that's mind-boggling to me. So that was the most frustrating thing going there. Coming back, we flew out from Barcelona to Miami. Amazing experience. They allowed me to pre-board, and when I went to ask that question and just like let them know again about my allergy, I was very hesitant that anything would come out of it because we all knew the success I had in Miami. So I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm just going to tell them because, I need to make sure I'm safe, but I know they're probably not going to follow the rules that they're supposed to. To my surprise, they allowed Danny and I to pre-board and they had safe meals for me, multiple safe meals for me. And it was amazing. And we had bought food at the airport because of the total chaos it was for Miami for me. So we had more food than we needed, which is always a great problem to have, at least with a food allergy, to have more options than none. But it was very refreshing to see the different type of service that I was provided. Leaving Miami, I was definitely dismissed. They could not care less about me. Leaving Barcelona, I was taken care of. My safety was a priority for them, and I was able to enjoy my flight comfortably. That is the realities of having a severe food allergy and no one giving a shit. But anyway, what's your go-to race day gear? Well, definitely not jean shorts, as I've learned from experience. I definitely was more comfortable on Friday and Saturday when I was wearing more of that breathable material, that athleisure wear. On Sunday, the top I was wearing was fine. It was breathable. It was the Furious Motorsports jersey with the cute little like white sports bra. If I could have worn like biker shorts or maybe like some type of breathable skirt, something more breathable than those really short jean shorts, I should have. I think if you're going to a Grand Prix, especially if it's going to be somewhere like Miami or Barcelona or Texas, where it's going to be extremely, extremely hot, I would not recommend wearing anything jean like. I would recommend leaning more towards the breathable, airy, light fabrics like athleisure wear or like a cute little sundress, cute little skirt. I was the most comfortable, I think, on Saturday, where I was wearing the checkered top and little orange skirt with my spandex shorts underneath. Beautiful, comfortable, breezy, amazing. Sunday, my only downfall was the jean shorts. So I would definitely recommend athleisure wear. I would recommend something breathable. I would stay away from jeans. And sneakers, comfortable sneakers. They are going to get dirty. So just be aware of that, but wear sneakers. Wear closed-toed shoes. Don't wear sandals. Do not wear sandals. Absolutely not. What to expect when going to a race? Well, you're going to walk a lot, so bring comfortable shoes. Maybe try to stay away from white. I wore my customized Lando Norris shoes that Danny made for me, and I'll link her studio actually in the show notes below for you guys to check it out. I would maybe try to stay away from white shoes, but definitely something comfortable to walk in because you are going to be walking. It's lots and lots of walking. Sunscreen, it is very, very hot, and I thought coming from Central Florida, I would be used to the hot. Barcelona heat is a completely different story. It just sticks to you like how it is in Arizona. It's just very, very humid and it's sticky and you're just there. So sunscreen and fans. If I would have brought a portable fan or even like one of those fans, like a hand fan, would have been great. Your chargers, because your phone will be dying. A charger, a Sharpie that works. That would be really nice. So when you meet drivers and everything, they can sign your stuff. You'll have a pen for them. So make sure your Sharpie works. Speaking from experience. But I had some really good friends that let me use their Sharpies, so we're all good. But bring a Sharpie that works, everyone. And water. Water, a reusable water that is allowed in the circuit, because I know Barcelona, we had a lot of rules where it was like the aluminum, metallic, some stuff like that. Like people weren't able to bring those like nice reusable cold thermos ones because of the water bottle itself. That material wasn't like allowed in our circuit. So definitely make sure you check out the rules and bring a water that you're able to fill up that is allowed. So check the rules. Water and food. Make sure that your circuit allows you to bring food. Barcelona luckily allowed us to bring food. So we packed sandwiches, we packed chips, I think we packed candy at one point. I don't really remember, but we brought food with us because the prices are absolutely insane. And if you have food allergies, I can't promise you that everything would be safe. So I always bring my snacks, but definitely bring your food because it is expensive. And those are probably the biggest things to expect for a race. And my last question is interesting things that happened during your stay in race week. And to that, I will say my TikTok has all the interesting stories and the last episode because we definitely do not have a lot of time to go into every single interesting and crazy thing that happened to me on my Spain trip. So make sure to check out last week's episode, Fangirl Confessions, Spanish Grand Prix edition, and check out my TikTok page because there are videos on there that are not on my Instagram and they're there on TikTok for a reason. So make sure to go check them out. And that is our first Q&A, everyone. All right, Radiant Icons, that is your tea time sesh for today. Thank you guys so much for submitting all your questions about my trip to Spain. I am very excited to do another Q&A very soon in the future. If you liked today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a rating, a review, and, tell all your friends about it because we love more Radiant Icons in our iconic community. Next week, we are bringing back Everyday Icons. Our first guest for Everyday Icons is the founder of F1 Girlies, Ella. Ella is an icon. She has created the fastest growing female community in the F1 space. And I am so excited to chat to her about all things women in motorsports as we are seeing a rapidly growing fan base in Formula One that's never been seen before. And as a professional fangirl, I am so excited for you guys to hear the chat that I had with Ella, and that will be next week. In addition, the professional fangirl herself, I'm so excited, you guys, will be on the cover of F1 Girlies magazine for July. That's right, I am your July cover girl for F1 Girlies magazine, where I talk all things Dare to Be Iconic and being a professional fangirl, which is something I haven't spoken about on the podcast yet. I'm just really excited for you guys to read the July issue. That comes out July 15th. I will make sure to share the link everywhere and anywhere. Don't you worry, because little baby Amanda, her dreams are coming true. This was one of her biggest dreams, was to be on a cover of a magazine, and it's happening. And I'm just really excited for you guys to read the issue and to listen to Ella's episode. And remember, that all comes out next week. So mark your calendars. July 15th, the July issue with moi on the cover. And then July 17th, my interview with Ella, the founder of F1 Girlies. So anyway, I'm done, everyone. I am done. I will see you guys next week. Remember, Radiant Icons, dare to be iconic. Bye.